Hi there, Patrick. More essays. Great. Looking forward to reading them. So let's see what you said here. The first one. Food travels thousands of miles from producers to consumers. Some people think it would be better for the environment and economy if people only ate the local food produced by farmers. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? Let's see what you said. Food nowadays reaches, the consumers from places which are from different countries and continents. That doesn't make sense. From places which are from. Food reaches the consumer. No. Food reaches consumers from places which are, different countries and continents, and which are not too fresh. Hold on. There should be a double O. And what's not too fresh? The places are not too fresh. So careful, okay? Because you have these two, it's almost as if the countries and continents are not fresh. And I think you mean something different. I think you're trying to refer to the food here. So you would absolutely need to rephrase this sentence. It should be, food nowadays reaches consumers from places in different countries and continents, and the result is food which is less than fresh. Okay? Whereas other people have observed that eating products which are grown can not only be fresh and healthy, but can also helps in the country's, environment and its economy. What's going on in this sentence? I don't really care for the whereas, really. I would get rid of it and then say, other people have observed that eating products which are grown locally cannot only be fresh and healthy, but can also help. All right, we have to look at this again. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to look at the question again, okay? There's this opinion here, all right, that it would be better for the environment and economy if people ate only local food. And you are asked very specifically what your opinion on this is. You didn't address that here in this introduction, okay? You really should do it. It's important that you present a clear position throughout the response, even starting from your introduction. So that's the first problem here. The other problem with this introduction is that grammatically there are lots of places where the writing becomes incoherent. So we already looked at the first sentence and how to fix it, but we really have to look at this other one as well. Okay? So we said something to the extent of food nowadays reaches consumers from different countries and continents, and as a result, this food is not very fresh. Yet, people have observed that eating products which are grown locally are not only fresh and healthy, but can also help the country's environment and its economy. I support this opinion and will justify my position with arguments and examples. Okay, that's how you could have done it. Now let's move on. International food products are delivered from all around the world. This is largely because people from different countries have migrated to places where they do not have the traditional and cultural food. Furthermore, people can also enjoy food which is off-season in their countries. For instance, it is seen that Pakistanis, you don't need an apostrophe, who are residing in the West can enjoy this privilege to eat and enjoy mangoes at any time of the year, while in Pakistan, mangoes can be eaten only in summer. In addition, the export of food goods to different countries can also improve the economy of the country which has exported them. Why? Finally, countries where cultivation of crops is difficult and inadequate. Finally, for countries where cultivation of crops is difficult and inadequate, this can be a solution to overcome the shortfall. No, not the shortfall. The lack perhaps, of food. Consequently, food from outside countries can be beneficial to some extent, with a T, not a D. Countries can be benefited by eating food which is produced and manufactured. All right, there's nowhere, I need some sort of cohesive device, something like here you could have done on the one hand, on the other hand. Or you could have written this as it was and then just say, that said, or you could have said, however, countries can be benefited by eating food which is produced and manufactured within the country. It is largely noticed that in doing so, the environment is pollution-free, due to which people are healthy and active, as it is observed that countries which import food products from other... I don't understand this. This doesn't make sense to me, this whole part of the sentence, as it is observed. These are transported either by... I'm so confused now. I'm afraid you lost me, because look what happened. You said you're eating food from your country, so your environment is pollution free. Okay? Because people as a result are healthy and active. This made no sense to me. Okay, I don't understand why this belongs here. And then, what is transported either by planes or vehicles which use fossil fuel, and this damages the environment? This isn't what we should be talking about. I mean, isn't this kind of what you should have been talking about up here, about, importing foreign foods? So it doesn't really feel like it belongs in this paragraph. Moreover, if the consumers prompt their local market, promote perhaps, and use products S produced D in their country, this can improve their economy. Recent research from Harvard has shown that countries which are strong in their agriculture industry, like India, are 30 times more stable economically as compared to countries which are not wealthy in their agriculture sector. Therefore, people can adapt to eating food which is produced within their city and country, and by doing this, they can be protected from very serious diseases. I don't understand where the diseases comes in here. Okay, I'm confused now. Let me explain to you why I'm confused. Because you had this whole section about planes and vehicles and fossil fuels. Then you said that local foods improves the economy. And then you said that they're more stable economically. Okay, so that's fine. And then here, your conclusion is just about diseases, but you didn't say anything about the economy. So it might have made more sense for you to say, therefore people can adapt. How about this? People can eat food which is produced within their city and country, and by doing so, they can be healthier, but also more economically sound, or safer economically, or something like that. Okay, but not just this thing about diseases. All right. In conclusion, although international food for many consumers can be convenient regarding availability and easy accessibility, so it's availability, accessibility, so easy accessibility. And you can't use but and although, you have to just select one. So in conclusion, although international food for many consumers can be convenient regarding availability and accessibility, this is at the cost of pollution and health issues. Products which are cultivated locally can promote the farming industry, build a strong economy, and protect people from diseases. Okay. So, of course, we have to make some changes. There were a variety of problems here in this essay. I think we've talked quite a bit about them. Some task achievement problems, some coherence and cohesion problems, and some grammatical problems as well. All right? But it's a good effort. I mean, you tried. You did a fair job of this. Okay, so good work. Let's take a look now at this. Just to let you know, it would be really helpful if you could include the diagram in your email to us. This way I can make sure that you're including everything that you need to include, that your data is accurate, and so forth. So just keep that in mind. The line graph compares sales of Intel and AMD chip manufacturers of France during 2017. Overall, it is clear that sales of Intel chips, I guess, sales were the highest in 2017. Now, you're comparing two things, so it's not appropriate to use the highest. You should just say we're higher. Okay? You can use the highest if you're comparing three or more, but here you're just comparing Intel and AMD. The peak sale, not the EE, but the EA. Peak sale for Intel chips S was in the month of June. This should have been one sentence here. While AMD, you could have just said AMD's chip sales. Chip sales, no. Let me fix this. The peak sale for the peak sales for Intel was in the month of June, while AMD's peak was noticed in the month of February. And how about we do this instead? So the peak sales for Intel was in the month of June, and AMD registered no sales, while AMD's highest sales occurred in February. Maybe we can do it like that. All right. In January 2017, it was seen that sales of Intel chips, not Intel chip, Intel chips, or just Intel, were nearly double, no D, as compared to the sales of AMD chips, which were just under 25,000, no S. In the following months, the buyers of Intel chips rose. You don't know that. You don't know the buyers rose. All you know is that the sales of the chips rose. So it could have just been one buyer buying tons of chips. So don't assume that the buyers increased. Reaching a peak, AK, of nearly 125,000 in the month of June. A significant drop in sales was noticed, D, for the month of July, but thereafter it rose and remained nearly similar for the next 3 months, under 75,000 each. November, December were the months when the sales picked up again, fine, with 120 and 110,000, no S, respectively. Consumers who showed more interest to buy AMD chips S were during the months of February, July, September, and October, which were nearly 130, 120, 80, and 70,000, no S, respectively. In the remaining months, the sales of AMD chips were not so significant as compared to the sale of Intel chips S, which were quite higher. QUITE. Okay, let me think about this for 1 second. You spent a lot of time on Intel, and then you really just did a very quick job with AMD. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you mentioned essentially 5 months, and then you just kind of forgot about the rest of the year. I guess it's okay, but I would have at least liked like a range, okay? Because you mentioned that they were not so significant. Okay, great, but you could have at least told me the ballpark of where those figures were. Like you could have said that for the remainder of the year, sales remained between 20,000 and 70,000 or something like that, okay? So that's just one way you could have at least shown that you attempted to give a ballpark figure for this. All right, so Patrick, why don't we get to correcting these, okay? I know that there are quite a few things you need to correct, so I'll let you get to that. Add to your error correction list, and then write us another set of essays. Another thing that I want to mention here is I didn't really care for this paragraphing. The overview should either be on its own or it should be with the introduction. But this sentence really just didn't these two sentences really didn't belong. Yeah. Overall, it is clear that sales of Intel chips were higher than AMD in 2017. That's appropriate for the overview, and the rest really gets into details like this June, and then it just gets a little too detail-y. So keep that out of your overview, and just add these pieces of information to your description. Okay? All right, so I'll let you get to it. Good luck, and I'll be waiting to see your next set of essays.